Well, welcome everybody to Physicians for Reproductive Health's 2020 Voices of Courage benefit. We are minutes away from our live program starting at 7 p.m. on the East Coast. That's 4 p.m. Pacific. If you have any questions, just reach out to us in the YouTube chat. In fact, we want to know that you're with us. We know we have people watching from all across the country. Say hi to us in the chat. Let us know where you are watching from. And don't forget to share your photos of yourself on social media attending our virtual event. Use the hashtag VOC2020. Now, if you're wondering how you're going to support us tonight, we've got a link for you. Just go to prh.org/paddle-raise. That's prh.org/paddle-raise. You can see it right below me. You'll see we already have raised a generous total from our sponsors, but you will have the chance to see your name listed along with the supporters during our paddle raise later. So thank you so much for being here. We'll see you when we go live at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific.
Welcome to Physicians for Reproductive Health's annual Voices of Courage benefit. My name is Dr. Kristen Brandy, and I use she, her pronouns. I carry many identities as I walk through the world every day. I'm a proud Puerto Rican bisexual woman, an OBGYN doctor, an abortion provider, and board chair for physicians. And I'm here kicking off this evening to say, no matter who you are, no matter where you live, every body deserves care. While I wish we could all be together in New York City where we've held our previous benefits, it means so much to still be able to hold community with even more people around the country by going virtual. I'm so glad we can come together to celebrate abortion providers and the community of advocates working day in and day out to make sure we can all have access to essential reproductive health care. Tonight is even more special, as I have the pleasure of introducing you all for the very first time to our incoming president and CEO, Dr. Jamila Parrott. But first, I must express how absolutely thrilled I am to partner alongside her as we work together to take Physicians for Reproductive Health into the future.
Thank you, Dr. Brandy. I'm Dr. Jamila Parrott. I use she, her pronouns, and I could not be more honored to join Physicians for Reproductive Health as president and CEO. For many of our communities and for those we serve, it is a difficult time to be celebratory. This year has been hard. From the devastating impact of the COVID-19 pandemic to the repeated public displays of police and state violence in our communities, reminders of the ways anti-Blackness, systemic racism, and white supremacy is woven into the fabric of our lives makes it impossible and even harmful to attempt to carry on as normal. And of course, the violent attacks from anti-abortion politicians have not stopped, using the pandemic as an excuse to place even more burdensome restrictions on healthcare instead of providing our communities with what we need and deserve to be safe, healthy, and supported. My colleagues across the country and I keep working, providing compassionate care and advocating for science and evidence to guide decision-making before, during, and after this pandemic. And we know that we truly could not do this work without all of you. As a graduate from the Leadership Training Academy, I know firsthand how transformative our programs are for physician advocates across the country because they have been that for me. And as a Black woman, a mother, an OBGYN, a provider of abortion care, and as an advocate for reproductive justice for all people, I also know that there could be no better time to dedicate my passion, my commitment, and my expertise to Physicians for Reproductive Health. Tonight, we have an opportunity to celebrate all of the hard work and successes in spite of these challenges, and to embrace everything we have to look forward to in the future of Physicians for Reproductive Health. I hope you will give as generously as possible tonight in support of our incredible community of over 400 physician advocates trained through the Leadership Training Academy, including myself and Dr. Brandy. I look forward to getting to know you in the coming months, but let's keep tonight moving. I'll now turn it over to Fred Northrup Jr., a longtime friend of physicians and our MC for this evening.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Brandy. Thank you, Dr. Parrott. And to all of you watching at home, welcome to the first ever virtual Voices of Courage Awards program and Paddle Race benefiting Physicians for Reproductive Health. We are live here, and I love seeing we've got people watching from all over the country. We've got the YouTube chat up, greetings from New Mexico. We've got people from California, Arkansas, New York, all across the country joining us live right now. My name is Fred Northrup Jr. I'm honored to be with you here broadcasting live tonight. I'm here because I believe that all people should have access to reproductive health care, including abortion care. And I'm so honored to be here supporting the physicians who provide that care. Physicians for Reproductive Health, as many of you know, represents the collective voice of outspoken physician advocates and mobilizes them into action. They are fierce, hardworking, heroic, and relentless as they counter ongoing attacks on abortion care. the usual challenges they face have been compounded as decisions we make about our reproductive health do not stop during a pandemic or an economic crisis. This means the work fighting to protect this essential care can't stop either. There is a role for each of us in protecting abortion access right now by supporting our physician advocates. I'm so pleased to be a part of this wonderful awards program where each year we honor incredibly courageous voices in the field of reproductive health care, including 2 extraordinary abortion providers. Now, make sure you stick around until the end of the event. As is tradition, we're going to get a live message from our longtime friend, John Oliver, who is actually going to be live from his vacation. So thank you, John. I know you're watching right now. Thank you for joining us. Now, of course, as you've noted in the chat, we're not in New York together. Things are definitely different this year, but we're going to keep it as informative and joyful as possible for all of you joining us from the comfort of your homes. In fact, this year we have viewers tuning in from 44 different states, Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico, and I want to thank 2 special physicians watching who have made the Voices of Courage benefit possible each year. Dr. Caitlin Fiss, thank you. Dr. Isabel Blumberg, thank you. Caitlin and Isabel, I miss seeing you in person this year, but I can't thank you enough for your support of tonight's event and all that you do. Tonight, we are raising money for the Leadership Training Academy, Physicians' flagship program that has, to date, trained nearly 400 doctors across the country to become outspoken advocates for reproductive health care. To support these incredible physicians, we suggest using a second device to donate, meaning watch this program on a big screen and then grab a smaller device like a phone or another tablet to donate. And make sure you have a screen open, of course, to prh.org/paddle-raise. You can see that on the screen below me, prh.org/paddle-raise on your second device. You'll see we already have raised a generous total of nearly $50,000 from our sponsors, but you are going to have the chance to join our early supporters during the paddle raise later. If you even want to get in your paddle raise early, you can do that at any time tonight. Just go to prh.org/paddle-raise and click donate. Now, don't forget to share your photos of yourself attending our virtual event. Please use the hashtag VOC2020 or tag our social media accounts at PRHDocs. And by the way, if you're watching on YouTube and you ever have a technical glitch, such as the audio and the video aren't syncing, just refresh your browser. Most problems will be magically fixed. All right, it's now time to begin the awards presentation. That's why we're here. So let's start by honoring 2 inspiring physicians.
Dr. William K. Rashbaum devoted his career to advocating for abortion access.
He trained hundreds of medical students, residents, and physicians around the country and co-founded Physicians for Reproductive Health.
The Dr. William K. Rashbaum Award is a Lifetime Achievement Award,
honoring a physician who has provided abortion care throughout their career
and served as an extraordinary mentor and a leader in the reproductive health care community.
I am thrilled that the Rashbaum Award is going to my mentor and colleague, Dr. Carrie Cwiak.
Hello, I'm Carrie Cwiak. I'm a professor of gynecology and obstetrics and epidemiology here at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. I direct the Family Planning Division and the Family Planning Fellowship at Emory, and work with our community partners as well at Feminist Women's Health Center, Atlanta Women's Center, Planned Parenthood Southeast, and CareFem here in Atlanta. I first was interested in OBGYN because I saw that reproductive health care was a unique area, specifically abortion and contraception, that not everyone got a fair chance at getting the options that they needed.
When I think of Carrie, the word that came up for me is tenacious.
She's an incredibly fierce advocate. I think you get to say that about someone who sues the governor twice in 10 years.
She advocates on so many levels, from media and testimony.
Carrie is a tireless fighter for her patients.
She's also a huge advocate within our Department for Reproductive Health and Abortion Access.
I really need to be an advocate to show, the more we talk in non-judgmental ways of women requiring an abortion, just as any other medical need that they have, then then I think it takes away a lot of the stigma. It takes away a lot of the misinformation. And so that's what I can provide as an advocate.
She understands that this fight is happening now, and this is not the time to be on the sidelines. It's the time to be in the game.
She's also a really talented physician, right?
She's also just very compassionate. Recently, we actually ran into a patient, and the patient stopped us and just told us about how appreciative she was of Dr. Cwiak and Dr. Cwiak's ability to take care of her during a very difficult time.
When I think about the multitude of different roles that Carrie has done, from being a clinician to an educator to a researcher to an advocate, it's amazing to think, to really think about the number of folks that she's helped learn about family planning. She has formally mentored multiple residents, medical students, public health students,
Junior faculty at Emory, and feminists.
Graduate students from different backgrounds, fellows, advanced practice providers.
It's got to be at least 150 students per year.
She is training future leaders to carry on her mission of providing comprehensive women's health care and abortion care.
If I work with one student and I'm able to impact how they feel about reproductive health care, about abortion, about contraception, they're going to continue that and have that experience throughout the rest of their life.
Her impact will be felt long after she retires, even though she'll never retire. But you know what I mean? Like, she has shaped the careers of so many people that have so much to give back.
The William K. Rashbaum Award, it means a lot to me. It really validates what I do as a provider. I know that abortion, I know in my heart that abortion is essential for healthcare. So to receive this award really validates that, validates what I know in my heart is true. And so I thank you all for that.
The Dr. George Tiller Award honors a physician who, although in the early stages of their career, has taken significant and courageous action to protect and expand access to abortion care locally and nationally. Awardees are current abortion providers who have overcome opposition to remain steadfast advocates for reproductive health care. I'm proud to present the 2020 Dr. George Tiller Award to Dr. Sheila Ramgopal.
My name is Sheila Ramgopal. I am the medical director and owner of a clinic named Allegheny Reproductive Health Center.
Sheila is a force of nature. Sheila, has these incredible ideas about medicine and how to provide care and how to care for patients in a way that's truly patient-centered.
In 2016, the owner of Allegheny Reproductive Health Center was going to retire. His name is Dr. Robert Thompson. He said that I would like you to take over the business if you're willing. Otherwise, we were going to have to close the clinic.
When Sheila decided to purchase the clinic, we were only a few years out of residency, so still a pretty young physician. Just making the leap to purchase this clinic so that patients wouldn't lose access in this part of the country was huge. They took a huge personal risk, they took a huge financial risk, a huge professional risk.
It's so important for us to continue to do the services that we provide, but also expand our services, because we really have done a lot of work to shift the way that we operate and the way we deliver care.
I think Sheila's work promotes the idea that everybody deserves healthcare in the way that they've chosen to expand services here.
So since taking over in 2017, we now do abortion services up to our state limit. We provide obstetric services. We provide comprehensive gynecology services, including a lot of LGBTQIA care. So we take care of a lot of trans folks, do a lot of hormone therapy to provide services to clients for whatever they choose.
They really think outside of the box. I actually was trained in pediatrics. During my adolescent medicine fellowship, I really wanted to learn to provide medication abortions, and Sheila was willing to teach me.
We have medical students, residents, undergraduates, PAs, nurse practitioners. We have family practice doctors, pediatricians, OBGYNs, like anyone who wants to train in abortion services, we will train them.
Sheila not only spends time providing incredible care here at Allegheny Reproductive Health Center, but they also spend a lot of time advocating for abortion access here in Pennsylvania and nationally.
I feel very strongly that physicians are extremely important advocates.
They work so tirelessly to take care of patients, to take care of our staff here, to take care of people we haven't even met who might need our services.
To be honored for the George Tiller Award is overwhelming. I might cry because I don't feel like I deserve it at all. You know, there are people who do this work all the time, and we all should be getting awards regularly. When Dr. Thompson told me that he wants me to take over this business, he was like, you know what, Sheila, I wouldn't do it if I was you. But, you know, it's these like courageous acts that we just keep having to move through. So Dr. Tiller is the epitome of moving through fear and persevering through with courage and dignity and respect.
I'm just so grateful that PRH is recognizing Sheila for the incredible work that they do. And I want Sheila to know how grateful I am for all that they've done for me personally and for all the people who need care here in our part of the state.
All I can say is thank you for fighting the fight. Thank you for all the work that you do as reproductive health care advocates and providers. This award is a huge honor, but it really goes right back to you guys.
Truly remarkable doctors, and I love watching the chat. I love seeing all the love coming in from across the country. You know, I wish we were in New York City where we've gathered for the past 4 years, experiencing the emotions and connections we feel when we're together in one room, but we're all so moved by these deserving providers that there was just no way we could let this year go by without honoring them for their advocacy and their service. And I hope, of course, that everyone is cheering and applauding Dr. Cwiak and Dr. Ramgopal from your home or your clinic or wherever you're tuning in. We can certainly see that happening live in the chat. And I'll emphasize that even though we're not together in New York, it's still so powerful to gather together live, even if virtually. And although we're not together, the impact of your generosity tonight is just as real. So let's keep going. We're very excited to introduce you to this year's Voices of Change Award recipient. Teen Vogue is a widely well-known household name, and our physicians have been incredibly impressed with its reporting on reproductive and sexual health. I'd like to turn to some of our junior advocates to tell us why Teen Vogue deserves this recognition.
The Voices of Change Award recognizes vital partners who have been agents for positive change in our movement and have gone to extraordinary lengths to ensure that all people in this country have accurate information
about access to the reproductive health care
they want, need, and deserve. Physicians for Reproductive Health is proud to give this year's Voices of Change Award to Teen Vogue in recognition of their commitment
to providing young people with exceptional, evidence-based reporting
on their reproductive health care options.
I am so excited for Teen Vogue to be honored by Physicians for Reproductive Health with the Voices of Change Award. Teen Vogue is a major voice in our movement.
I couldn't agree more. I love reading everything that they publish. They recognize that young people have more access to information than any of us could have ever dreamed of. They can find the information, and so they know if you're lying to them or not. And so focusing on transparent and truthful reporting is such a gift these days, I think.
At Teen Vogue, we cover a whole variety of issues regarding reproductive health, from abortion access to pregnancy to STI prevention to sexual pleasure.
Our interest is really in the stories of doctors, the stories of healthcare workers and people that, go above and beyond to ensure, that young women have access to reproductive health care.
A lot of what we do is really try to empower young people at a very early and young age and make them really feel like that is, a safe space at Teen Vogue to make sure that they feel seen and heard.
With Teen Vogue, it feels like it's personal. It's about trying to make teens as educated and as aware as possible. I definitely know that that's a place where I can go, and that's where I can find really good information.
I trust them when I
look something up and I see them as the first search result, I'll click on it.
Teens might go to Teen Vogue for other information like style or something else, but the fact that it also includes reproductive health care kind of normalizes it for girls.
We think it's very necessary to, create a culture where people don't feel ashamed to ask questions about their own bodies and about their own reproductive health. So we are very unapologetic about sharing as much information as is necessary for them to make the best decisions they need to make in their own life.
The article I was interviewed for in Teen Vogue was actually a recent one, and it was about abortion restrictions in Texas specific to COVID-19.
My experience with Teen Vogue has been very recently talking about painful sexual intercourse, and then several years ago being interviewed about hormone therapy and transgender care and sexual reproductive health needs of the LGBT community.
And I really appreciate that, especially in articles around abortion care, the evidence is important. Talking about facts and factual information is important, not just interviewing people to fill some sort of other side agenda. That really can be dangerous. They do the work. The reporter that I worked with on the piece had questions and then follow-up questions later and then follow-up questions.
They asked questions that were really nuanced and well thought out.
As a journalist and editor, it is so exciting for me to hear experts say that. We're essentially providing young people with access to medical information.
As a teen girl, like growing up during a pandemic, growing up, in this really scary world where sometimes you don't always feel like you have a lot of control, knowing that Teen Vogue is there and able to, answer your questions in a way that you'll understand, in a way that's personal yet informative, is really just super incredible.
Right, it's very empowering, and I think a lot of people in our generation feel sometimes I feel very defeated. That is why it is so important not to feel condescended when you're reading an article and rather feel empowered and encouraged, because there's so much that I can do.
I think the best thing that we can do is to really be there and comfort and guide, but also really empower young people, because it's young people that are changing the world right now.
We want them to be curious. We want them to be empowered. We want them to understand consent and understand their own bodies. We want them to understand pleasure and joy and all of the things that come with a burgeoning, young, curious sexuality. The hope is that they go out and change the world. And so that is absolutely one of our tenets and core kind of beliefs.
Thank you to all the physicians for reproductive health. We are so honored at Teen Vogue to be receiving this award, and so grateful and humbled to be even considered. And a really big thank you to our Identities editor, Brittany McNamara. She did an incredible job, and we're so appreciative to her.
I am just so honored and so grateful that Physicians for Reproductive Health chose Teen Vogue for the Voices of Change Award. Accuracy and integrity are super important to me as a journalist and as an editor, and I'm so excited that Teen Vogue can provide that for young people when it comes to their reproductive health.
We are in a critical moment where young women are asking really important questions about their own lives, and it's so important to us to give them unfiltered, unbiased information so that they can make the best judgments for themselves and do it in a shame-free environment. So we're so honored to be recognized for this work.
Well, it's so important that young people, like our junior advocates and many of you watching, receive factual, comprehensive information to make decisions about their health care. And now, before we hear from our friend John Oliver, who is standing by, everyone, it is time to raise your virtual paddle. Tonight, we support the Leadership Training Academy, which many of you know as the LTA. The LTA provides physicians with the skills they need to have evidence-based conversations in policy and in the media around the issues that matter to us most, like access to abortion care and birth control. But more than skills, the LTA creates a lifelong advocacy home and a critical, supportive community. To date, nearly 400 physician advocates have been trained through this program. In fact, many of them are here with us tonight. LTA fellows, drop us a waving emoji in the chat so we can thank you for your advocacy work. Many of the physicians you've heard from tonight credit the LTA for giving them the confidence and community they need to fight for our health care. One of these fellows is actually here with me tonight, live in the studio right here. Joining me is Dr. Anuj Katar graduate of the LTA. Thank you so much, Dr. Anuj, for being here. Tell us a little bit, if you would, about your experience with the LTA.
Sure. Thank you, Fred, for inviting me to speak about the LTA. The LTA has been so important to me for many reasons, including the friendships, skills, and community I've built through this network. The most important and helpful part of the LTA, however, has been the courage it provided me to speak about reproductive health issues, including abortion, with my local, state, and federal policymakers and media. I now fully comprehend that my role as a physician is not just to care for my patients inside my exam room, but to advocate for our collective human and reproductive rights. The specific skill-building exercises during the LTA, such as learning how to write op-ed articles, practicing interview on camera, and speaking directly to our federal legislators, gave me the courage to continue doing this work once the fellowship ended. The networking and connections I built during the LTA continue to provide me with emotional, academic, and social support as we collectively work towards the larger mission of reproductive justice and freedom. I hope that you are able to join us in supporting PRH and the LTA program by giving today. I understand that we are struggling together through 2020, but the challenges we have faced show me how important it is for the LTA to continue. Let's continue to create more advocates around the United States to speak against injustices and champion reproductive justice for all.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Qatar. I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Well, certainly inspired by the work of Dr. and all of your colleagues. Everyone watching, as a reminder, we ask that you simply take out your phone, tablet, maybe you've got another laptop. Just visit prh.org/paddle raise. We can already see the gifts coming in live. We appreciate Nina, Frank, Stephanie. Thank you. You can join them live now. And if you prefer to pay by check or any other way, please email engagement@prh.org. So let's start right now. Let's see if we can reach our goal of $220,000 tonight. And I'm going to start with the big number. We'll work our way down. We believe there is a number for everyone watching, and we're hoping, of course, for 100% participation. I'm going to start at the $25,000 level, and I am thrilled to share that LTA graduate and longtime supporter of physicians, Dr. Chris Creatura, has made an incredible $25,000 gift. Dr. Creatura, thank you so much for your support. We're so appreciative. If you can join us at $25,000, please do. A gift of this significance will underwrite media and on-camera training for advocates like we've seen tonight. So again, we're seeing these gifts coming in right now. Thank you to the Perler family. Meg and David, thank you so much. Jennifer Russo, thank you. Jeanette Price at $500. We're seeing all these gifts come in. We're going to move on to our $10,000 level. $10,000 supports online advocacy webinars. Now, this is so important, especially this year when COVID-19 travel restrictions impact how LTA fellows receive their training. So to start us off at $10,000, thank you so much. We've got Susie Kriskunas. Yes, Kriskunas in Texas. Susie Kriskunas, thank you so much for all you've done to support these physicians. Who else can join us at $10,000? And we're seeing, again, these gifts are coming in live right now. We have another generous gift of $10,000 from benefit committee members Ellen and Casey Kogut. Thank you so much. And if you can join us now at $10,000, we hope that you will. We're seeing, again, all these Angela Tackney. Thank you. All of these gifts we're watching come in right now. Ann and Nico Hayes, thank you so much. Dr. Katie McHugh, thank you so much. All at $2,500. Dr. Seeley at $3,000. So much going on right now. So let's keep going. $5,000. If you're able to join us at $5,000, please do. And to start us off at $5,000, thank you so much to Wendy Chavkin, one of the founding board chairs of physicians. Speaking of board chairs, we have a special guest tonight, properly social distanced, of course, delivering her gift of $5,000 in person. Normally, of course, we're together in New York. We flew next to each other, in fact, last year on an airplane. So please welcome Dr. Susan Popema, another former board chair of physicians. Doctor?
Thank you, Fred, and it's so nice to see you again.
You too.
I am so happy to be able to be here with you tonight to speak about PRH. I remain so passionate about the founding principles of our organization, about the right of all persons to decide when and if to have children. We are in such tumultuous times right now, and our poor reproductive rights movement has taken some pretty severe body blows this year. Luckily, the COVID pandemic has also given us opportunities to be creative, such as delivering telemedicine to many previously underserved communities and pushing for better access to abortion medications for women who need them by mail or at local pharmacies instead of needing to show up in person at a clinic, particularly in this time of increased risk of infection. We've accomplished this and even more because we learned how to be advocates for change and really powerful policy movers through our time with PRH. So it's with great pleasure that my husband, John Kramer, also a physician, and I give $5,000 to this organization trying to keep the LTA going. Be generous, everyone. Make it hurt a little bit. Stretch when you write that check, and then at the end of the day, you'll be proud of your checkbook stubs and know you've really helped a lot.
I love that. Thank you so much, Doctor. So good to see you again, and I appreciate both of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Please remember, if there's not a number you hear that is perfect, you can just enter the amount of your choosing at our paddle raise site, prh.org/paddle raise. If you haven't gone there yet, we hope that you will now. So let's keep those donations coming in. Our friend John Oliver is waiting on Zoom now, and we'll go to his remarks shortly. We've got more gifts coming in live. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Nicole. At $5,000. Thank you to our friend Jerry Link. I know you're watching live with Carol right now, so thank you to both of you. Good to see you. Also, thank you to Dr. Gwen Harris. Thank you to Jill Braufman. Thank you so much, Cindy Meal. Remember, all the money raised tonight goes to providing the critical training physicians need to continue fighting for reproductive health care. So thank you to all these 5,000 donors that we see coming in, and everybody, Clark Johnson, Carrie Pierce, all of these, the Rhodes family. Thank you, Jamila. Thank you, David. Thank you, Kathleen. All of these gifts coming in. Before we move on, I'm delighted to share a group gift from the LTA class of 2015. Dr. Seeley Massengill and Dr. Serena Floyd challenged their classmates to match their combined gift of $4,000, and tonight they've presented us a total of $9,600, which is amazing. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We've got a phone. This is unusual. This is the physician's phone here. We don't, kind of in the middle of a show, but let's, hello?
Hello, Fred. This is Dr. Chris Creatura, LTA class of 2011.
Oh, hello, Dr. Creatura. Good to hear from you. What is the reason for this call?
I've been involved with Voices of Courage since its inception, but the attendance tonight is an unexpected silver lining of the pandemic. This crisis has clarified for all healthcare providers what we've struggled with for decades, the deliberate medical misinformation for political gains that harms pregnant people. So I'm here asking the radical truth tellers on the call to support essential reproductive health care. I've already committed $25,000 to help sustain the Leadership Training Academy, but tonight I'd like to match the donations of all the LTA grads with another $25,000. The LTA is an essential service. Let's demonstrate our commitment to advocacy with our checkbooks and speak the truth as loudly as we can.
Well, that is amazing. Thank you, Dr. Creatura. That is extremely generous of you. Everyone else, I assume you have the phone number. If you want to donate $25,000, feel free to do that, or just, pull out your phone and go to prh.org/paddle raise. So that generous gift, of course, means that gift from LTA fellows will be matched up to $25,000, including the class of 2015's gift. I know there are other fellows that have already made your early gifts. Thank you so much. Your paddle raise will be instantly doubled. Your $2,500 becomes $5,000 right now. Your gift of $1,000 becomes $2,000 right now. Looking right now, you can see we're at $153,000 towards our goal of $220,000. So again, if you haven't joined us, we hope that you will right now. Ann and Nico Hayes, thank you so much. Dr. Katie, thank you so much. $2,500, that's so generous. Ellen and Casey Kogut, again at $10,000, that's absolutely amazing. Susie at $10,000, thank you so much. Serena, Rosalind, Ann and Nico, again, so much activity. And again, we're confident there's a level that works for everybody watching right now. This gets us towards this match. So if you would like to join us at $2,500, please do. $2,500 helps PRH staff prep doctors for media opportunities. And again, more gifts coming in. Thank you so much to Cynthia Vance Abrams. Thank you to Dr. David Grimes. You know, I've just been told that we have an extraordinary group gift of $5,900 from the Mount Sinai Division of Family Planning. That is amazing. This gift was spearheaded by Doctors Adam Jacobs, Rachel Mash, and Laura McIsaac, 3 Mount Sinai family planning leaders who have been dedicated to PRH and the LTA program for many years. So thank you all. $1,000. If you can join us at $1,000, please do. It's a very important level that supports security training for advocates. Safety is always at the forefront of our minds. And when these doctors become more visible in the public sphere, we want to make sure they have all the resources that they need to feel safe. Our first gift comes from Jody McGee, who just retired from her position as Physicians President and CEO. Thank you so much, Jody. Former board members, Dr. Nancy Stanwood and Dr. Doug Laube, thank you so much. The LTA class of 2020, thank you so much for giving back to this program. We have a couple more group gifts coming in right now. Firstly, thank you to Dr. Ann Davis, former medical director and board member who has brought together her colleagues from the Columbia Family Planning Division. Thank you for this generous gift of $2,500. I'm seeing the LTA class of 2016 has put together a gift of $3,325 in Dr. Sheila Ramgopal's honor. Thank you so much. Before we move on, if you would like to join us with a gift of $1,000, please do. As Dr. Papama said, stretch. If you had a number in mind, we hope that you'll jump up because as you know, this is incredibly important work and we can't do it without you. $500 supports up-to-date training materials for our advocates. We've got a flood of gift from LTA fellows who'd like to give back to this life-changing program. I love seeing that. There's Jody's gift coming in right there. All of these gifts coming in live. Thank you, Talia. Thank you, Neha. Thank you, Sarah, in honor of Dr. Parrott. I love people who are giving in honor. If you'd like to give in honor of somebody, you can fill that out as well. So more LTA fellows. Dr. Sarah Immershine giving a gift of $500 in honor of incoming CEO and President Dr. Jamila Parrott, as you just heard. More gifts from LTA fellows is absolutely incredible. Our total is climbing right now, so let's keep it going. $250 is our next level. These days, of course, we're always on Zoom calls. $250 supports video conference check-ins with the doctors. We want to make sure they feel supported. We want to make sure they have the resources they need to be the outspoken advocates they are. So thank you, Michael Spiegel, for starting us off at that level. We love seeing all these gifts coming in live right now. Can we refresh and just scroll up? Because there's just so many names that I'm seeing right here. $100, by the way, is our last official level. $100, our last official level. Remember, LTA fellows, Dr. Creatora is matching all gifts this evening of up to $25,000. Again, up to $25,000, bringing her total gift to $50,000. So thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Nancy and Nathan Sambul. Thank you so much. Everybody else, keep those gifts coming in. Thank you, Doctor, here at $100, $250. Nancy Fang joining us. All of these gifts coming in. Thank you, Britt and Ann. I love seeing the generosity happening live. Of course, we're not all in the same room together, but we're all coming together and giving at the same time. This link will stay open, so keep those gifts. If you need to scramble and find your credit card, we'll wait. We'll wait. This is important work. So if you have not yet gone to prh.org/paddle-raise, please do that. And if you work for a company that matches your charitable giving, please make sure that they do that too. Now, my friends, as you continue to give, as you continue to share this link with your friends, with your family, and on social media, if you've been to our event in the past, you know we have a history of ending the program with John Oliver. Well, guess what? As promised, look, there he is right there. There he is right there. On vacation, no less. Not at the desk where we normally find you.
Right.
Yes. So I'm going to go do some math, John. I've got an abacus. I'm going to tally the totals. And for For right now, it's my privilege to turn the program over to you. Everybody, it's the one and only John Oliver.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Fred. It's always a privilege to get to fill time while math is happening. Also, if I ever did wonder, would Fred's bow tie pop on camera? I got an answer. That answer is an emphatic yes. I also never thought I would get to hear Fred say the phrase, "Drop me a waving emoji in the chat." But I guess that's just the world we live in now. So thank you so much for having me. Isn't this a fun time to be alive? Obviously, normally I speak to you in person at the New York Historical Society, but we can't do that because of, the thing. And it's a shame, to be honest, for a number of reasons. Chief among them is the fact that every year I turn up to the New York Historical Society and I think exactly the same thing. I think this place looks amazing. I must really come back here and look around properly sometime when I'm not doing a benefit for Physicians for Reproductive Health. And each year, without fail, I never, ever do that. I've had that exact thought all 3 times that I've done your gala evening so far. And it's not a knock on the New York Historical Society at all. It's a knock on me. I just regret being able to mark time once more by noting my annual failings as a person. But the beauty of doing it there as well is clearly that it's a controlled environment. I've never had, for instance, the worry there that I would be interrupted talking to you by, let's say, a 4 or a 2-year-old in the next room screaming and running on stage because they're fighting off bedtime. That is very much happening right now. There is a non-zero chance, genuinely, that I'm going to be invaded at any moment by a child in rocket pajamas or naked. So if that happens, apologies in advance. This is true. My 4-year-old, who Caitlin Fisk delivered, by the way, ran in while I was working earlier today, and he said, "Dada, you need to come in. You're on TV. You need to come." And so I ran with him into the other room, and he pointed at the TV, and I swear this is true. He was pointing at Stephen Mnuchin. And that's a pretty heavy hit from a 4-year-old. We've been producing this show from home in New York, and he's walked in a bunch while I've been taping shows. Perhaps the most dismissive he was a few months ago. He walked in while I was taping, shouting alone in a room. And he said, "Dad, are you doing your show?" And I said, "Yeah, I am. I'm doing my show right now, in fact." And he said, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "Police brutality." And he left. Now, also, as we fill time, I've been asked if I can issue a happy birthday greeting to Dr. Anuj Qatar, who I know has worked incredibly hard for this great organization. I believe his birthday is actually today. And I'm sure that growing up as a child, he dreamt of one day spending his birthday on a Zoom benefit during a global pandemic, and perhaps even getting a birthday greeting from a, let's say, G-list celebrity. Well, it's happening, 8-year-old Anuj. Your dream is coming true. And at the very least, this greeting is cheaper than going on Cameo and getting one from Carol Baskin from Tiger King, which you can do. I just checked, and she charges, and this is true, $299. $299 to be wished a happy birthday by a professional tiger pimp. I just don't know if there's a better sign of the times for where we are as a society than that. But mainly tonight, I wanted to join you in this strangest of all benefits to voice once again my sincere appreciation for what you've all done over the past year in terms of providing reproductive health access to people who badly need it and who absolutely deserve it. I do feel like each year I end up talking to you, trying to deliver something of a pep talk to make you feel as valued as you clearly should be. And every year, the backbone of what I've had to say is basically that it has never been more important to be doing what you're doing than right now. And unfortunately, every year that does become more and more true. The conditions you're having to work in make what you're doing borderline heroic. And it's so sad that that is the case, because you shouldn't be heroes. You should be basic healthcare providers. I believe that's what you signed up for. But sadly, the truth is, if things get much bleaker, abortion providers are going to start to be deserving of actual capes and a potential place in the Marvel comic universe. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything that you have done this year and everything that I know you are going to do in the year ahead. And I also know that with PRH being a 501c3 tax-exempt organization, politics is a little tricky, as you, and I quote, do not support or oppose candidates for office, unquote. But here's the thing, I do. So let me simply, and this is just from me, and I'll say this as delicately as I can, let me say this. If you went to a pizza restaurant and the waiter offered you a pizza with pepperoni or broken glass, take the pepperoni. Even if you don't really like pepperoni, take the fucking pepperoni. Let's leave it at that. And order. Don't walk out, order it. We'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for having me. I hope you've had a good evening wherever you are. Please continue to support Physicians for Reproductive Health. I'm in absolute awe of what this organization is able to do. Thank you once again. Hopefully, I'll see you in person next year, if there is a next year.
I'm hoping there's a next year, John.
Well, that's right. I think hope is as much as anyone can realistically ask for right now. We can just say, fingers crossed. Listen.
John, thank you so much. You know, if you're wondering how inspiring you are to everyone, you should know that while you were talking, we got a gift, a brand new gift of $100,000 in honor of all the physicians who do this work. So you're learning this live, as is everyone watching this broadcast. So
was it from Carol Baskin and her tigers?
I think that money is really adding up. That cameo money, you know, volume, John.
Good for her. Good for her. And in that case, I've got no problem with what she does.
Well, John, everybody, a big round of applause from home for the one and only our good friend, John Oliver. John, have a great vacation. Thank you for taking time out of your evening. We really appreciate it.
It's an honest, genuine pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, John. Well, my friends, the numbers continue to go up because of your generosity. We are watching these thermometers. We've got all these different thermometers. I'm seeing that we're close to $200,000. I'm not sure what you're seeing in there over in the control room, but my friends, let's see. Yeah, I'm seeing one number that's at 217,000. Just remember, our goal, of course, was 220,000. If we're 217,000, according to this thermometer that we have here in the room, then we are only $3,000 short. If there are 3 people who can join us at $1,000, you'll put us over the end. Of course, we've got Dr. Cwiak's match coming in. Thank you so much that the LTA fellows gave over $30,000. So remember, all of you, please share this link. Look at this. We've got more numbers coming in live right now. So thank you so much. People are giving minutes ago. Sarah McNeil, thank you so much. Jennifer Tang, 3 minutes ago. Robin Wallace as well, 3 minutes ago. Deborah, thank you so much. All of these gifts. If you haven't joined us, prh.org/paddle raise. It's your turn. This, of course, will help physician advocates like the many faces you've seen and voices you've heard tonight continue to defend reproductive health care. You've heard how many here with us tonight. And look at this number. Will you ask if that's with our new gift coming in? Okay, so we had a gift of $220,000. Now I'm seeing that we're at $318,000 with that new $100,000 gift that just came in as John was talking, which is absolutely incredible. So thank you for making sure that so many of us around the country, all of our physician advocates, can continue speaking out, and they can only do that with your help. So I would like to say thank you as we're going to check these totals one more time, because I can't believe the number of gifts coming in right now live. So we're going to check this total one more time. I'd like to say thank you on behalf of the organization, but why don't I let Dr. Brandy do that? Doctor?
Thank you all so much for your support this evening. This critical work to protect and expand access to reproductive health care could not be done without you. Remember, you can keep supporting Physicians for Reproductive Health through the rest of the month at prh.org/paddleraise. Thank you so much for your generosity. Lastly, I want to take a moment to thank everyone who made tonight possible. Our board of directors, our benefit committee, our supporters, our award recipients, Fred Northup, John Oliver, and the staff of physicians. Thank you also to our incoming president and CEO, Dr. Jamila Parrott. She inspires me, and I know she'll inspire all of us to keep working for everybody's access to reproductive health care. Thank you for joining us tonight to make it clear that every body deserves care. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great night.
Amazing. I am now learning officially our total over $318,000. Our goal tonight, $220,000. Talk about generosity. With that, we conclude the 2020 first-time virtual Voices of Courage benefit. If you want to share this program with others, please share this YouTube link. We will keep this video up for you to rewatch and share. And as Dr. Brandy mentioned, the paddle raise link will be active throughout September for anyone who'd like to make their gift later, and so that you can share this link with your friends and family. My name is Fred Northup Jr. On behalf of our physician advocates, thank you. And as John Oliver said, we hope to see you in person next year. Good night.